Alright, back into the castle in the cold, cold winter.
It's called Castlevania.
What's of our current playthroughs in snow levels? It's like it's pre-planned or something.
It's a nice contrast compared to the weather that we're actually experiencing.
I mean,
warm, sunny, and shiny.
Yeah, terrible.
it'd be pretty weird, wouldn't it? Hello everyone, and welcome to our playthrough of Vania, Lords of Shadow 2.
Yeah, that's interesting. Sorry,
Sure. Just to make sure, you don't sparkle in the sunlight, do you?
Also, no, okay, Joe, without spoiling too much, I gave the idea if Shirei has to be associated with any mythological creature of the darkness, she will be more like a Wendigo than anything.
Joe, might as well.
Wow.
Well, actually,
so
you know what?
That she becomes a creature that has a craving for human flesh.
Well, actually, that actually is an interesting.
Another time, but go on, Pedro.
I like steak, but carry on.
That actually is an I might as well go off from Jova's joke. Okay. We already know what Alice's power would be if she had a vampire, as told by Alice in Twilight. So, Shira, what would be your vampire power? Remember, you can only get one, but it can be whatever power makes the plot of Twilight more convenient for Stephanie Meyer.
Like One Piece or My Hero Academia.
Remember, Alice has the ability to predict the future, but only when it's convenient for the plot. So, what Stephanie Meyer type vampire power would you have?
The ability to cosplay and disguise yourself as anyone?
Would that be it?
I don't know.
No, I got it. The power to inject fake excitement into a movie with an action scene that didn't happen.
I feel like that would be more like your power, Dwebs.
That's an incredibly specific power.
Yeah, I was about to mention
Peter, I resent that. I would make actual excitement. I'd have all the characters die and the movie ends with a bloodbath because no one likes the characters anyway.
That's not really a
convenient teleporting when the plot demands it.
That's not really a power. That's just you being a writer.
Also, Shira,
my writing is the power.
Well, okay. To be fair, as Umineko does say, a writer is often the most powerful character in a story.
Yeah. It's like the final episode of Biker Grove, where the characters are literally on. But for all this time, like the past nearly 20 years, the characters of the show were secretly under the influence of an outside writer, meaning that none of the events of the show actually happened. It was just someone's whim. Isn't that fun?
Anyway, yes to you.
It isn't.
Also, first of all, Dracula, stop doing the superior landing. I'll get you in a second, Shira, because we have a new enemy type. The Summoning Priest. Hello.
Oh.
You're dead. Why are you here?
No, we haven't.
If they were victorious, then he would be dead, moron.
More than you know. Very well, then.
It means that the circle is open.
Oh no! More of the Brotherhood! How scary!
His design is actually very, very similar to the Inquisition in Plague Tale, actually.
It's very based on the actual medieval outfits of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
so, Blitz, I get the feeling that this Biker Grove thing really sat wrong with you.
Yeah, well, Joe, put it this way. It was a show just originally about a bunch of youths at a youth club in Newcastle, just trying to, help themselves with their lives. For everything to turn out to be under the whims of a writer, the characters had no free will of their own and they fended off an attack of a T-Rex, and they ultimately ended up them getting sent into nothingness.
I'm actually wondering right now.
Comedy?
No. Biker Grove was a drama series.
So how did it turn into Looney Tunes in the end by the sound of it?
I don't know. Ask whoever was running that show at the BBC at the time.
And yes to you.
Alright, back to you, Tio.
The strategy against these particular brutes is to use absolutely the Chaos Claws, because otherwise you cannot damage them properly, but thankfully with just a few hits we will actually turn it away. Also, Shiri, it's kind of funny because, in my country, for like the past week and a half, it has been only like cloudy, very rainy, and and also what's the term? And it has.
Cumbersome?
Sorry.
Cumbersome?
Yeah, no, it has been stormy for a long time. So wanna trade?
Yeah, sure.
So Tio, you know we established that this is technically all in Dracula's psyche or whatnot. Except these are people referencing stuff that he technically should know given how the
Wait.
plot goes, so to quote Dragon Ball Z Abridged, how did you know about the parts you weren't there for?
I guess.
I mean, okay. I mean, put it this way: it'd be like if like Lady Leighton had an ending where it turns out that she actually wrote all of the Leighton stories up to that point, and nothing ever existed.
What?
I mean-
how would that even work?
But Pedro, it worked in a show aired on like our national broadcaster in front of millions of people.
That was
Actually,
apparently
what-
supposed to be taken seriously. Sorry, Sheree.
Yeah.
Actually, what happened is she's not even his daughter. She's just a self-insert fanfiction character.
Of course.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Shiro. I'm actually considering for next Sunday to actually start showing the anime to Dwibs, so he can actually decide for his own on how that thing goes. But anyway, what was it? Yeah, Jova, remind me, because you actually have knowledge of the books. Like in Twilight, do they ever tell us what Carlisle's vampire power is?
The Doctor.
Yeah, the Doctor.
Peter Facinelli's character. I forgot.
Time Lord.
I believe that they may have. Let me just check to make sure.
All right, Tia, we're coming up on it.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, and go.
There we
Protecting
go.
inside their churches and cathedrals, the Brotherhood clerics limited themselves. Basically, again, these guys are kind of nasty because they can summon, continuously other people of the Brotherhood. So as soon as they manage to show up on screen, it's best for you to actually take them out. But they also do some magic tricks of their own, like say enchanting their own weapons or making actual magical armor. So again, prioritize the targets. The bigger guys have been instead, ones that you have to take out with the Chaos Claws, like I said, while the regular ones are basically just cannon fodder unless they have a shield. Otherwise, just use the Chaos Claws for those ones as well. Go on.
Did you find it, Jova? Because I don't think they ever. Because I figure like whatever that power would be, that would probably be also Teo's vampire power.
Something that aid him for his job, I guess.
Well, okay, maybe his powers to be able to diagnose at incredible speeds. I don't know.
I feel like those were like his.
Pedro,
base
Twilight
powers
is
he
many
used.
things, but not an anime.
I guess it was like he used his senses as a vampire to become a doctor, but
I don't know.
from what I've
To
seen,
sorry,
no
go on.
record of him having like any of those extra special abilities that some vampires have, like being the flipping avatar, turning things to gold, or Bella's wonderful ability that she's able to cancel out anything.
Okay.
It's literally
Also,
real the power of a void.
Teo, you say that, but practically every iconic characteristic of Twilight, I've seen plenty of animes, like toxic relationships, check. Creepy obsessions, check.
The lack of realizing that stalking is not a good thing.
Check. Definitely check.
Extremely inconsistent filmmaking.
Check.
Having to choose between love interests.
There we go. Powers
Check.
and abilities.
Double check, in fact. Go on.
There you go. Let's see what the Twilight Wiki has to say for the time being.
I actually checked the wiki. I couldn't find anything on his extra abilities, but maybe you'll find something I missed.
Hold on. First of all, we're about to get an important cutscene, actually, which will set up the tone for the reason why Dracula has to stay a bit more in the castle.
Yeah, because this kid won't leave him alone.
You're not too wrong on that one, Dweebs.
Here, Dad.
Yes.
Here, Dad. Let's play with my action figures.
Hey, look, this is me as an adult before I turned into a
I
vampire.
never really wanted to leave.
That's you as a soldier before you became a dick.
It's all a metaphor, Jova.
She says
Well,
I
at least
should
we're
be
getting
angry
some
with
nice father-son bonding time.
you. We've got to help you leave this evil place.
There's also keep also again the phrases that Trevor says in mind. This is also not therapy just for Gabriel, but also for Trevor.
This one. Look, Father, it's you.
Oh, there we
The
go.
letter's missing.
Yeah, Trevor actually has a piece, but
Will you bring it to me, please? It can't be far.
I would like to be able to play.
So why don't you help me then?
You were saying too?
Well, because I'm just a kid.
okay, here we go. Let me try to read it. Carlyle's came up with his own theory as to why certain vampires have enhanced abilities. They bring something from the previous human life into their new vampire existence. Carlyle is also immortal and has spent centuries perfecting his medical talents, becoming an excellent doctor. Unlike most vampires, after 300 years of practice, he's no longer tempted by the scent of human blood, and he's able to use it to help him in the workplace, therefore turning his curse into his advantage. He also believes that every vampire's strongest ability is enhanced during their transformation. What he brought into his next life was incomparable compassion for humans and vampires, which was what prompted him to redirect his death to animal blood in the first place. He also used his sense of smell to locate injured people who might have a chance to be saved. Despite his naturally gentle personality, superior controls of his instinct, he is also quite adapted in combat, blah blah. I get the idea it might, the powers, it might be either something that he hasn't discovered yet by the time of the story, or is what, as the description says, was prompted him into changing his lifestyle,
To be fair, this might also have to do with the fact that...
Alright, while you're ready, Jova, go ahead.
My name is Andreas Oleosius, and I have just
Noticed? No.
noticed that I am
Yeah.
injured. I will leave a written testament of my misfortune here. And now, the power of mind over body is curious, as I have been able to escape from the greenhouse like a bat out of hell. But as soon as I saw the dark, dense blood bubbling on my soldier, I collapsed, incapable of taking another step. I never saw my enemy in there. All I saw were dead leaves flying around me, and my comrades falling one after another, decapitated, disemboweled, and crushed. I'm quite sure it wasn't Dracula who massacred us. Rather, a creature of the forest. I'm almost happy about it. This wound almost doesn't hurt now as I see the light coming. Okay, so something
was
worse
murdered, but
than
not,
Dracula.
yeah, but not by Dracula.
And get this, apparently so much, again, it sounded like he would have preferred Dracula than whatever did this to him.
I wonder who could be in there, but go on, Taylor.
So Teo, what do you think would be Gabriel's vampire power?
I mean, if it has to be just a very specific one,
Marksmanship?
no, it's all about close quarter weapons. Sure, it has some minor ranged options like the throwing daggers, but not to the point of actual marksmanship. So,
Well, that's why I say a
Maybe-
very specific power that he... Well, okay, we have to assume it's something that it's a skill he didn't already have. Because
Well,
if it's a power he already had...
more enhanced agility then, because it does complement his style, but even in the first game he's not... while it has some agility, mostly relies on moving thanks to the combat cross, otherwise on his own he's a bit still, of a small tank.
What about you, Duz? What would be your... you already told me. What about you, Jova? What would be your vampire power if you were a Twilight vampire?
Time manipulation.
Aha. Alright.
Extremely useful to have.
But of course, remember, Jova, you're only allowed to manipulate time when it's convenient for Stephanie's plot. Just like Alice predicting the future. So.
In regards... speaking about what I was saying, when it comes to Dr. Carlyle, I get the feeling part of the reason he isn't shown to have a special ability is because, well, Stephanie Meyer, while writing the book, kind of went like, well, he's not really that important unless I absolutely need him. He's like the meta character who she kind of would only pull out here.
Which is a shame because he's one of the better characters.
Yeah, from what I understand, the movie does much more justice to him than the books do.
And again, Trevor, a good writer will still give him a power even if it's not important to the plot.
For the sake of consistency, yeah.
Again, usually what happens in stuff like One Piece or, My Hero Academia, even characters that you don't think are much important still have, a solid foundation.
Hell,
they're needed for the future. Because we're about to meet who this particular figure in the forest was. It was mentioned.
Pan?
Oh, it's an effigy to Pan. Oh no.
You're looking a bit rough there.
Sorry, I'll explain it after this.
Yeah, I don't think it's Pan himself, Shiro, even though it's technically the same voice actor. It's...
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you know anything about mythology, Pan had a brother, one that usually handled stuff like, the autumn and winter season. So, as you can imagine, he might have been happy by the fact that Gabriel actually killed his brother.
And this is one thing where I do have to question again. How much of this is stuff in Dracula's mind, or how much of it is stuff that's actually happening? It's okay.
It's easy. Honestly, Jove, it's pretty easy. This is Dracula's regret for having killed Pan manifesting.
I get that, but how would he have known that Pan had a brother?
Oh,
brother was naive.
Gabriel, very, very poor choice of words. Yeah, but you could have chosen by... Oh.
Give me the fragments so that my son can actually play with his toys.
Parlay?
Waited for this moment for a long time. Now my wait is over!
Oh, shit. So, yeah, looks like a girl wants to toy with us rather than just trying to kill us directly. Which means another stealth section. One of the more infamous of the game, actually.
Interesting.
If Gabriel wants the fragment, he's gonna have to play along.
This looks like it looks like more like he's entering one of Maleficent's castles.
In general, this kind of aesthetic are direct references to Guillermo del Toro's movie Pan's Labyrinth, which makes sense.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry I wasn't able to read that last bit all completely, but again, it's weird. Every time I try and read one of those dialect things, the light...
No, I do understand, Jova. The font is just that, the desaturated kinda. Don't step on that leaves, the noise will reveal location to Agrios. Use the mistborn to go unnoticed.
Okay, I will...
Also, let me read these bios as well. If I recall correctly, I'm about to do it. Yeah, there we go.
Go on.
It is. When Gabriel defeated the Great Pan, he never imagined that he had altered the natural balance of the world irreversibly. Two mystical spirits, Nomios, commonly known as Pan, and his dark brother Agreus, maintain the order of line between the species of the planet. So when one dies, the other will drag the weight of nature with him, bringing drastic changes to all of his creatures. Ailing and mad due to the death of his brother, Agrius unleashed chaos and famine on his wake. Crops no longer grew, entire cities were devastated by the plague, and wild beasts devoured each other. Exhausted, the Dark Faun retired to his secret garden to plan for the most cruel revenge against his brother's killer.
So here's the thing, Tio. Like, you suggested it's simple about that, but no, it's never stated clearly in-game that that's the case. Like,
well, you have to see the bigger picture, Jova. Remember, the entirety of the castle is about Dracula putting his memory and his conscience and his own soul together. Because, again, he has been asleep for too long, so that's why he hasn't, recovered all of his powers. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing. The sectionists tell you to not step on the leaves because you will track Agrius, but he's very good at picking out your tracks, mind you. So you need to actually keep moving instead of standing still on one location. This stealth section will punish you severely for hesitating.
Hey, Agrius, if you just wanted to kill us, why did you bother to run away?
Actually, he didn't run away. He wants to just toy with us. I think I'm about to show it if I actually game over. Yeah, there we go. He just does this. I don't even know, Fujin rather attack or something. Again.
Alright.
There you go. If we want to actually get distracting a bit, we can use our Shadow Daggers against a bell to actually distract him with a sound, because again, Metal Gear Solid Guard logic.
Alright, then.
Go ahead, Pedro.
Okay, I have to wonder, like, I have to question the placement of the auto-saving icon. Because even by the time this game came out, the standard was to have it on one of the bottom corners, but they have it in this... It's not even in the upper corner. Instead, it's like somewhere in the upper middle, upper right middle of the screen. Weird way to place your auto-saving icon. It's weird.
I actually don't know about that.
Well, hold on. I'll point it out the next time it shows up.
Sure. No, I know that it exists. I just don't know why they did that.
Okay. It's just. I mean, not that it matters, mind you. I just noticed it was a weird place to put your auto-saving icon on the screen.
Anyway, again, the entire point of the stealth section was just to open the door, and now we just need to get inside, and after that we'll hopefully be able to have a proper boss fight against Agreus. Go on, Pedro.
As for the second, you know what's the interesting thing about this whole pan thing? Just recently my country went through an election. In fact, yesterday actually, and one of the political parties involved was actually PAN, aka People, Animals, Nature. So this is kind of interesting timing for me personally.
Interesting acronym.
Going back to
it actually works on both languages too, because People, Animals, Nature, which in Portuguese is Pessoas, Animais, Natureza. So it actually, the acronym works in both languages actually.
Yes, Jova?
Yes, Jova?
I mean, yeah, sure, yeah. We could argue that this is Dracula's psyche and up, but then you have stuff like the bio, which is like, no, it treats it like this stuff is actually happening, has all this reasoning behind that. Then there's the soldiers here and there. Again, I'm not...
Again, Jova, you have to remember what he also said. Despite, again, these being a metaphor for Dracula putting things together, it's still technically a physical location, which will also affect both how things are going in the real world. So, yeah, again, you have to treat it like it's supposed to be an eldritch location on its own, where it's not even a case of where logic has no place or anything, but a Schrodinger's place where things are happening and not at the same time.
I do think what you're describing is more a better idea of it than what the actual execution states.
Oh, no, it's not even that, Jova. Like I said, the game does a kind of a poor job explaining this directly to you.
Yeah. That's pretty much my main point. Like, maybe you're on the money with that. It's just that one of the shortcomings of a story is that I don't feel it explains this stuff well. And look, I'm not saying like it's a deal breaker. I just think it wouldn't have hurt to have been more clear. Like, are we actually in the past or whatnot? It's sort of treated like we're in the past.
Time-wise, it's treated again right before the collapse of the castle under the Brotherhood.
And, you know,
anyway,
all this stuff.
Let me tell you for an Easter egg. Now you're supposed to kill the bird that has taken your fragment, and you have to use a projectile. So you can use either your Shadow Daggers, or one of the attacks powered up by either the Void Sword or the Chaos Claws. If you do any of if you ever the Void Blade or the Standard Daggers, it just dies. But what happens if I use instead the Chaos Claws for flame projectiles? In a second, sorry. I was trying to get ahead of the curve. You even get a trophy for this, so that's cute.
Yum. Well,
yeah, look at that. Look where the L7 icon is.
Yeah, I get it.
Like,
I
weird
don't know.
place to put it.
I actually don't know.
Shall not pass.
Radio Grails, that one. Okay, then. Fine.
It's not like you're even voiced by Ian McKellen.
The boss fighting itself is actually pretty easy. The real challenge was actually just the stealth section when you get down to it.
Yeah.
Well, so it's kind of like
there's a lot of unblockable attacks, so you cannot rely too much on pairing.
Did I miss anything?
We're fighting Agreus, and he did a "You shall not pass" line.
so it's like that level in Battletoads. The race against the ball is way harder than the actual boss battle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, one thing I do legit wonder is what was going through the mind of the story writers in regards to the castle. Like, again, maybe they had an idea here and there, but it's like, oh, here's how I would have done it. Yes, have it so that this stuff actually is happening, but the castle is tied to Dracula's mind as opposed to it being a back and forth on, are we actually in Dracula's mind? Like, have it be real, but have it be that the state of it is tied to his mind, which honestly would fit in with the usual lore of how Castlevania is tied to Dracula's life force and whatnot, and would also beg into the whole bit about why the castle doesn't want to let him go and whatnot. Maybe throwing a bit of stuff about how there's time travel or whatnot. Again, not the weirdest thing in a Castlevania game, but that would have made it more clear.
Also, remember, Jova, there's only one credited writer here, Dave Cox, unlike the other games which actually had multiple writers, so it might even be tight. Combine also that with how the troubled development cycle has been, and I can see why something like what you just said might have happened.
Without spoiling, the one thing that muddies the waters here about whether or not this is in Dracula's mind is the whole bits he has with Trevor, but I can't say why because
it's not even that, Jova. It's not even that, Jova. Like he mentioned briefly, there will be one point where someone else will be dragged down into this place. So it's not something that's happening just in Dracula's mind.
Again, though, like, well, the problem with the story is, like, it seems like it ping-pongs back and forth between, oh, is this real? Did it really happen? Oh, it happened. No, wait, no, it didn't happen. No, wait, yes, it did happen. No, wait, it didn't happen. And it feels like there's no point or purpose to it. Like, it's just answer straight. It's not even like hiding it is supposed to be, like, something that helps the story or whatnot.
As for me, my vampire power would be teleportation.
Oh.
That way I control people and even do the whole teleport behind the back.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Time manipulation would be so handy to have. I could basically take a break while writing a paper in a deadline, all within the span of, say, 10 minutes. Slow to an hour in my case.
I will honor my brother with your...
I think I already said my power, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. Shure's the only one who couldn't really come up with one.
No. Shure apparently liked my idea of her power being the cosplaying in disguise, apparently.
Oh, okay, so would that be indeed your power, Shure, then?
Slam.
Welcome to the jam.
Shure silence means yes.
Well,
And yeah, that's also the end of Agreus.
Yeah.
Silence is silence, Twibs.
Okay, so I'll admit, again, for as much a big deal as they make about Agrius, he's kind of just here and done.
Well, that's the thing. Again, this place will be basically this moment where Dracula is in the castle and has to get the fragments of a Mirror of Fate is about basically just one shot, like a couple of characters which will get a small amount of screen time for represents different parts of Gabriel's life, both as as himself before, becoming Dracula, and after.
I think one of the things that this is okay. The first one, the Shadow game felt like an epic quest, and it was constantly building up each of the big 3 bosses who you were coming to face here. This is more your typical, oh, you're basically doing all this, and you'll occasionally come across this foe here and there. Now that can work, say in cases like with Carmilla, because, well, she was a ghost or whatnot, so dealing with her again was quite a trip. But this, well, literally the brother of one of your greatest friends and allies from the first game, responding to how you more or less had to put him down and whatnot, feels like something that could have used more build-up and duration to it to help, give it more of a player punch.
You also, again, Joe, one of the major people involved with this was also Dave Cox. Considering also how the structure of the game is also very reminiscent of the old games like Symphony of the Night. I get the idea we wanted to also capture that and have the boss fight and the boss appearance being the more important bit, rather than actually dedicating them more time.
Let me put it like this. I feel like Carmilla's interaction, that had more weight to it than Agreus's, when it feels like Agreus should definitely have the bigger action. Like, again, brother of one of your greatest friends and allies now come to kill you.
Now, that being said, I'm really confident to say that the cases that will be for the next part will instead actually be much more interesting than this. But again, all in due time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
I'm curious,
because...
who's your
Yes.
favorite boss and interaction in the game to you?
The next part, honestly, genuinely to me, the next part is one of the major highlights of the game and definitely the major one for the castle section.
I think I may know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna wait to see for sake
Yeah,
of not
well, don't worry,
spoiling
Trevor.
the
My
others.
segueing at the end of the part will tell you anything that you need.
All this just to receive a fragment of the mirror for what, for all he knows, is the ghost of his son.
The thing
So he can play with-
the thing that a father has to do.
Seriously, he's murdered people just so his son can play with toys that show the past. If that ain't fatherhood, I don't know what is.
But well, actually, Pedro, another thing though, like you asked me about the doctor played by Peter Facinelli, but you didn't ask what my powers would be as a vampire. Though.
I just kind of assumed that probably would be the same, but since we can't find it out, go ahead, too. What would be your vampire power?
Okay. The eternal life is a thing that is like standard for vampires.
That includes to all of them,
Taken.
so you gotta pick a unique exclusive power to you, too. Because remember, there's no two vampires that can predict the future, it's just Alice. How the hell that works, because there's been vampires throughout the ages, I don't know, but...
I don't know how much broken that is, but hold on, I mentioned after the cutscene. Oh, why do we have a Chupacabra action figure? Jeez. Also, the mute girl even.
A chupacabra.
Bro moment.
Interesting action figures.
Have you brought the mirror?
No.
You could at least
Actually-
say hi first. Jesus.
It's broken.
Oh, pay attention also to
Well, technically I
Dracula's
was-
face.
Strange.
Well, technically I was right.
I guess Gabriel didn't do a good enough job raising him, Shira, neither did Mom, apparently.
But it does fit.
Can you find
Maybe
the
we
missing
need
pieces
more
from the father?
pieces.
Hello?
No, I'm tired.
Poor Dracula.
Shiroi,
Dracula is suffering.
remind
He at
me,
least has to be a father to you.
remind me
I like-
again, Teo, what's
I like
his
that
name?
hesitating gasp from him where he's like,
It's like,
Jesus
oh
Christ,
god
I
damn
have to
it.
do this.
Like,
Wah, wah, wah.
But he
Remi-
does it still.
Remind me
Don't
again,
stop it.
sorry,
Go on.
remind me again, Teo, what's his name, the kid?
Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah, Shiroi. Trevor definitely should have been more disciplined, because this is just getting out of hand.
Everything also, keep in mind that everything has a meaning, so again, I'll reincorporate also this.
Sure.
towards the
I'm
end of the
half
game.
joking anyway, but go on, Teo. What would be
First,
overpowered?
Well, okay, I don't know how more broken that is, but in case dimensional
Like
travel,
that ever stopped Stephanie. Go on, Teo. Pick one.
dimensional travel. Again,
Sure, why the fuck not?
The eternal youth is already a thing, so again, I just need, if that is complementary, I just need to get feet on my own, and then I'll be my own Gilgamesh.
Exactly. There you go.
Wow.
See. But remember, Teo, you can only use that thing in useful ways, only when it's convenient for Stephanie's plot.
Here's an idea. He reaches into a
Maybe
dimension
maybe
where
I'll
it's
find a
actually a
version.
good story.
Yeah, I was about to mention, maybe I'll find a version of Jacob who has his character assassinated.
I'm not even kidding. There's so many points in the Twilight stories where they could have easily solved so many things by just asking Alice what's going to happen, but they never do.
Anyway, with this quest having to go through, I have some special tickets for you children, because next time
Yay.
we're going to the theater. So,
Oh, we're gonna watch Puppeteer?
Can we see the woman in black?
But I can trust you, Dweebs. I can assure you, Dweebs, by the spectacle we'll actually see in the next part will be better. Orchestrated by the toy maker himself. So
Oh, it'll be a musical. Sorry, Dweebs.
Sylvester Stallone.
Definitely. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it.